So it was just announced that there are now new signs of trouble, and really we have about 5 months before things really go sideways. And honestly, it's about to hit the fan, and there isn't anything that we can do about it. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but I am here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to paint you a picture of rainbows and fairy tales and tell you everything's gonna be just fine. I want you to understand what is really going on within this economy. Now, today's video is a good one, and I want you to do two things first. First, I need you to go ahead and hit that like button, and this just tells me that you enjoy hearing the truth about what is really happening in our current economy. The second thing that I need you to do is go and share this video with your friends and family over on Facebook so they too know what is going on. Now, let's address what was just announced and how this could spell trouble for us here in the United States within the next 5 months. Here's what we know. Currently, there's more than 205 people of working age here in the United States. However, only 166 million people, roughly, actually work. Of those 166 million people, more than 11 million people work in manufacturing. That means we have a percentage of people in manufacturing at roughly 6.6%. Now you're probably thinking, well, why would this matter? Why would it matter that we have a 6.6% of manufacturing? Well, let me just paint this picture for you, and then I'll explain what's going on and what was just announced. Let's say 25% of those people in manufacturing get laid off. That would be 2.75 million people that would lose their job. And you're probably thinking, well, that's not going to happen. There's no way 25% of people are going to lose their job in just manufacturing. Well, let me tell you this. Back in 2008, I had a friend that worked in manufacturing. He was actually a manager. And he said that they actually had to lay off about 45%. 45%. Not 25%. Just so you know, manufacturing and construction saw the greatest amount of layoffs back in 2008. And experts believe that we are headed for the very same fate, that this is going to happen again during the recession of 2023 to 2024. But here's why. And let me know if you've heard about any of this stuff, because this is stuff that mainstream media is not telling us. This is what they don't want us to know. But here's what is happening. So backlogs for manufacturing, these are beginning to dwindle very fast. We used to have just a huge backlog of so many jobs that it's okay, we're a year out, so just keep adding on the work to the 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 13 months later. Let's just keep piling on in the end and give us a huge backlog. Well, according to reports, we now have a backlog of about 5 months. In 5 months, we are going to be returning to backlogs that were pre-pandemic levels. And I believe that's about 2 to 3 months. Now, I know you might be thinking that that's not a lot. That's not a huge issue. But it is. Here's the reason why this is a huge issue. Pre-pandemic levels means that businesses had access to cash. They had access to capital. What do businesses not have access to right now? Well, a lot of capital. They're not going out there to get new loans. Customers are not spending money like they did back in 2018, 2019, and the very beginning of 2020. We're not getting a stimulus check. Businesses are not getting PPP loans. They're not going to get that. So all that funding that we saw in 2020, and again, we were spending money like crazy in 2019 as well. We're not going to see that. Americans don't have the kind of savings that we once had. As a result, experts believe that backlogs, once they resort back to the 2019 levels, it's going to be the start of mass layoffs for manufacturing. Now, I wanted to confirm this news, and so I reached out to a community member. His name's Randy. He runs a machine shop. He's a machine shop manager here in Washington State. And here's what he had to say. And I simply asked, very, very politely, if this is something that's going on. Are we seeing backlogs start to dwindle? Well, he simply said, yes, that is right. We have seen backlogs slowly decrease over the last 5 to 6 months. Currently, we have a backlog of close to 3.8 months. Our new orders are getting smaller, and our shop has only secured 2 new clients so far in 2023. Before the pandemic, we were averaging 3 new clients each month. We also had a profit margin of close to 14%, and now we are just under 7%. So yes, times are changing, and my guess is that corporate will soon announce layoffs by the end of second quarter. I have been asked to put a plan in place to cut costs by 15% no matter what. And the only option I have at this point is to lay off senior employees who are making more than $30 an hour and hiring people out of high school or first couple years in college. If corporate rejects that plan, then our only option at that point is to explore mass layoffs. That is what he said. Now, this is pretty much in line with what we are seeing. Backlogs are starting to shrink. We're seeing profit margins shrink as well. We're also seeing more companies are now trying to cut costs. According to him, he says he's been asked to put a plan in place to cut costs by at least 15%. And his only option, and I have no clue if he's done anything else, maybe I should ask, but his only option at this point is to lay off senior employees. Now, just get this for a second. I talked to somebody that works in hospitality. They said that they actually cannot brew more than 4 pots of coffee. 4 pots for the lobby. That is it. So a hotel, and this is in the Seattle area, here in Seattle, Washington, but they cannot brew more than 4 pots of coffee. That is their max because they are trying to reduce costs. So they can give you free water. Guess what? They took the lemons out. They do not have the little lemon slices that they're putting in the water. You know why? Because that costs too much money. That's what I was told. And again, they can only brew 4 pots of coffee. That is it. That doesn't mean 4 pots of decaf, 4 pots of regular. No, it's 4 pots total. That is it. You know why? Because they're trying to cut costs. Because once you have cut all your additional expenses, things that are excessive, you don't need them. Well, the next option is employees have got to go. And that's what we're seeing. So, according to experts, they say once we see manufacturing take a hit, everything else is going to follow. Manufacturing isn't paid as well as tech. So people losing their jobs in tech still have money set aside to live off of. They have an emergency fund. But we believe that as soon as manufacturing goes, we will see more mortgage defaults, credit cards will go unpaid, cars will be repossessed at an even faster rate, and spending in general will take a massive nosedive. That is what experts are telling us. So, what does this mean for you and I? Well, here's what I know. Right now, I'm trying to position myself, and I'm telling everyone else as well, just be prepared. Go out there and work an extra job if you can find one, and if you can, you'll manage it. Go and ask your employer for a little bit of a raise. They might be able to swing it, but chances are it's too late for that. And ask for more hours. You might only be working 35 hours per week. Well, go ask for the additional 5. Get yourself up to the maximum 40 hours per week so you are now a full-time employee, and no, your employer doesn't have to pay you overtime. Just work the 40 hours per week. If that means an additional 5 hours every single week, that's 20 more hours per month. If you're only making $10 an hour, it's $200. $200 extra every single month. Again, might not seem like a lot, but at the end of the year, you make an additional $2,400 that you can put away into savings. Again, it's just something. I recommend you do that. I recommend you go and buy things like food that won't go bad, water that you can obviously set aside and you can use when you need it. Go and buy things in bulk. If you can go and buy a whole cow, go and do that because it's going to save you money. Okay? Go and do things that will save you money. Cut your expenses. Eliminate debt that you just don't need. Okay? If you have a car payment of a $50,000 car, but you never drive it or hardly ever do, well, sell it. Get rid of that debt. Take some of that money. Pay off other debt. Be prepared because when you know what hits the fan, what I can tell you is the people with cash, the people that are ready, have been waiting, and were prepared for this, those are the ones that are going to see the most success. They're going to be able to buy real estate when it's at rock bottom prices, buy their dream car when the person that had it before is selling it because they need that money to pay for their house, to pay for something else that they just didn't see was coming. That's what I want you to do. Be prepared, because again, this is just another sign of trouble, and we know it's coming. We're starting to see it. And now, and again, I bring this up all the time, is as soon as you hear mainstream media talking about things like this, well, at that point, it's too late. So start preparing right now and ensure that you and your family are ready to go. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.